Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the channel. So today we'll be talking about Chelsea's fixtures, the whole 38 fixtures, games Chelsea will be playing come the 2025-2026 season when it starts. So going through all 38 of them. So I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions on where you think maybe Chelsea can finish, what your thoughts and opinions are in terms of the first 5 games. What do you think about those ones? Some people are saying it's a pretty easy start to the season. Some content creators are even saying it's way too easy. There's something suspicious going on there, possibly because Chelsea played, right now Chelsea are playing currently in the FIFA Club World Cup. But all that is nonsense because Chelsea still have to come this season and prove that the top four was not a fluke. And Chelsea really wasn't convincing come towards the end of the season. Also, Chelsea have not even, been involved in any huge splash like signing any top class, top, very highly rated player with pedigree. Of course, you've signed the likes of Liam Delap, you know, promising talent that can come good. You know, there's rumors of signing Gittins, promising talent that can come good as well. But one thing I would like to see is Chelsea really come in and perform. I would like to see top rated players sign, players with winning pedigree. But let's see how that shakes down with the transfer window. See early days, see early days. So, but we'll go straight into the games. Let's look at the first 4 games. So hopefully you can see my screen. Hopefully you can see my screen. So that's Crystal Palace just taking on Crystal Palace on the first day of the season, that's 17th of August. So some people may say that game may be a very easy game. Some people might say that game, is an easy game, but it isn't. It just isn't because it's Crystal Palace. They'll play 3 at the back. They'll play 3 at the back, and you know they'll play with their 3 at the back, and there'll be a problem. Definitely, there'll be a problem. And Chelsea played last season against Crystal Palace, drew that game, and then and it drew that game and ended up draw. That's just spelled the outlook of the season. So the next game, West Ham, you know, the next game, West Ham against West Ham, um, for me, that is another possible banana skin. Although there's talk of Chelsea, of West Ham possibly losing um, losing kudos to maybe an Arsenal. Let's see how that shakes down. There's also been talk about Chelsea being interested in services of Kudus as well. Let's see if West Ham indeed will sell these players, will sell Kudus. But then again, West Ham has never been an easy side for Chelsea, even under David Moyes. Never really been, an easy side for Chelsea to face. So you can't say that's easy. Fulham again, never ever has been easy. The likes of Iwobi will be there in the fixture. Calvin Bassey, of course, Jimenez also will be there. But other addition they could make. My main issue is I haven't seen a signing that Chelsea has made, that could inspire that could inspire high level confidence in me personally as a fan to say, yeah, Chelsea will go on and beat, Fulham for sure, for sure. No, I can't say that. We know it's too early to talk about. So, but these 3 games, I would say, to still get 9 points from them, but it will be hard fought. To be a hard fought fixture, in my opinion. It will be a hard fought fixture. And then, of course, we're going to Brentford. Now, Brentford, and the thing with Brentford there is that obviously Thomas Frank, has left Brentford, he's joined up with Spurs, so possibly we could say that would give Chelsea sort of advantage. But then again, new manager bounce, first game of the season, not first game of the season, obviously, but new manager bounce, huge fixture, huge London fixture, although you can't quite call it a London derby, but for location purposes, you may say London derby, but huge fixture nonetheless. Chelsea doesn't still convince me as to say going to wipe the floor with Brentford. Brentford will still remain a decent side. Now the only player that we see them losing out on or missing out on is Mbeumo, possibly heading to Manchester United. Those Spurs almost, were rumored to be interested in Wemo services, i.e. Thomas Frank had joined them. But I still feel that game could be a bit difficult for Chelsea, but confident in that one. Of all the teams in the first four games that I've talked about, Brentford, I have a little more confidence Chelsea can go on to, win that game. So from those first four games, I'm looking at 3 points apiece. So looking at 12 points. But going into the game versus Manchester United, a lot of people would say, oh, Manchester United um, didn't finish the season very well. No Champions League football, no Europa League football, not even the Conference League football. So that should make them easy pickings. I don't think so. I don't agree with that sort of assessment because one, no European football, so they have enough time to train. Ruben Amorim and the side have enough time to train, get themselves prepared, and also the business they're doing in the window. If they're able to complete the Mbuemo deal, that would be really serious. That puts them over the top. And then if they're able to go on to get maybe Jokeres, who knows, because he's still flirting between Arsenal and Manchester United. So if he does eventually goes to Manchester United, then that's a problem. And this would be, sort of like a second year into Amorim's system. And for me, I keep saying this, Maresca hasn't really filled me with a lot of confidence. Early on last season, I could see what he was trying to do, but as the season progressed, I began to have my doubts because the lack of dynamism in the fullbacks became very, very apparent. And yet again, I'll say this may sound like me being a broken record, but it's just the truth. Who are difference makers in this team? And let's face it, let's say the truth. Cole Palmer has been struggling. He has been struggling so far. And then the new signings haven't been signed. And why I keep highlighting this point is you may say the transfer window is open. Yeah, you can go and sign, your primary target with 2 days left in the transfer window. And then that means that player needs a month, 2 months to come good, to get acclimatized to the weather, to English weather. That's if it's a player that coming out from outside the Premier League, getting acclimatized to the team, and getting acclimatized to the system that Maresca wants to play, and then the Premier League itself. So you have all these questions that you have to handle, you have to deal with, you have to think about. And that is why I think the decision to sign a striker should be done early. I mean, to sign any player, in fact, should be done as early as possible. Get your business done. Look at Man City, they've got their business done. Make no mistake, let no Man City fan try to convince you that they're trying to rebuild. No, they're just trying to replenish the squad. And they've done it quickly. They've replenished their squad quickly. So they've got Cherokee in the building already. They've got Nori in the building already. So they've got the primary targets that they needed to get in-house. And they're far better side than Chelsea. And they have a far better manager than Chelsea. Pep Guardiola, no argument about that. He's way better than Enzo Maresca for sure. And then they have having their striker. The striker has been with them for some years now, so he's ready to go. Even in a bad season, he can give you 25, 26 goals. So looking at Manchester United, I think that game would not be as easy as some Chelsea fans think it's going to be. It's not going to be that easy at all. So let's go on to the next one. So we then go to Brighton, Liverpool, Nottingham Forest. So, Brighton, the team that Chelsea wants to be like. They are the mentors of Chelsea because at this point in time, there's one team is wanting to copy the model of someone, copy the assignment of someone, but it's quite another thing when you want to go word for word, word for word for word. So the Brighton game will always be, a challenging game. Enzo Maresca, second season in the Premier League, he needs to learn how to, adapt to the Premier League. You can't just want to play the way you want to play. You can't just say, this is where I want to play, this is how I want to play it. That's him. Okay, thought on the last debut. Now, for me, the last debut, It was okay. It wasn't too bad. Like it wasn't crazily bad. It was okay. The Lab's debut was okay, but it wasn't super fantastic. Like how people were trying to make it out to be. Oh, the Lab super fantastic. Debut. He showed so much good signs. Yes, I want him to come good. He showed some good movement here and there, but come on, he wasn't that great. He wasn't that great. I'm not trying to beat him with any stick. I'm not trying to be overly critical, but let's call it spade a spade. He wasn't that great. He was okay. He made an assist. Jackson also made an assist before he was substituted. So the lap was okay. His debut was okay. It wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't bad. It was okay. So what I expect from the lap now is going into the next Club World Cup fixture is to build on that. And I want to say this. I don't know what you guys think, but let me know in the chat. So Nicholas Jackson, I think Chelsea should not even really stress about signing a left winger. Chelsea should just play Nicholas Jackson as a right winger. He's got the pace, he's got the skill, he can create for others, but it's just that he is unable for whatever reason to take his chances on at a high clip. So Nicholas Jackson can give you 14 goals a season, 15 goals a season, but I don't think he's quite that guy that can go on to give you 20, 25 goals a season. I just don't think so. He doesn't have that clinical edge, that killer instinct that strikers have. He doesn't quite have it. So for me, Delap's debut was okay. Wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad at all. Wasn't too bad at all. So talking about the Brighton game, that's the game that Chelsea should be winning. But one thing that Enzo Maresca must understand is that Brighton will always play the way they play, high pressing, space at the back. Now the question is, will Enzo Maresca take advantage of that? Which does he have the that humility to look at Brighton and say, okay, you want to play this way. I know I like to play out from the back with 20,000 short passes, but I'll take advantage of the space behind your fullbacks. I'll take advantage of the space, behind your midfield and play quick balls in behind for the likes of Madueke, Neto, maybe Gittins if you get it, with Fofana if you get it. Take advantage. Timmy George even, is already in the squad. Take advantage of the space in behind this high line. But would he be stubborn and embrace his ego like he did in the FA Cup fixture, like he also did in the Premier League away fixture to Brighton, where he said, "Oh no, we're still going to always pass up from the back, short passes, even if they press our heads into the ground, we'll still keep on with our short passes." So if he does that early in the season, where everyone is still hyped up, it's going to be difficult for Chelsea to, see up Brighton, in my opinion. So let me know your thoughts and opinion about that fixture in the comment section. Now, Yasim says Jackson has the pace, and in IG, his original position is left wing. When you look at Jackson, instantly you know that he would fit in at that left wing. And I'm telling you, if you play Jackson at that left wing, take off the board, it immediately takes off the burden of I must be the guy to score the goal. Because people don't understand how heavy that burden is. That number 9 burden is heavy for players to bear. It's heavy for players to bear. In my opinion, I'd like to know what you think. But I think it's a heavy burden to bear, and he isn't quite the guy. Now, I think Liam Delap has more of that mindset. It's just that he doesn't have the pedigree yet. He has a lot of growing to do, a lot of maturing to do in that position. But he has that mindset. He has that mindset of I'm going to bully this defender. I'm going to get in behind. So I think Delap has that mindset. Nicholas Jackson should play at right back, at left wing. Sorry, Nicholas Jackson should play at left wing, and then go to Liverpool. Now Liverpool, they've already done a lot of business. They've got Kekes. Kekes will soon be confirmed. Frimpong's already in the building. Plus, you've got Florian Wirtz, £160 million plus in the building already. Adding additional creative spark to Mo Salah. So that means if Mo Salah scored 30 goals last season, that means at least another 10 would come via the supply line of Wirtz. And they already obviously have Van Dijk in the defense. So that game is really going to be difficult for Chelsea. Chelsea may not be able to win that game. Now it all depends. The window is too young. The window is too open. Let's see what Chelsea can do. Can uh, uh, um, the board get players in for Enzo Maresca? Can Enzo Maresca take advantage of Liverpool? Now, why I say this is the game versus Liverpool at Anfield last season, we had Madueke fit, we had Neto fit, but what did Maresca do? He kept Neto on the bench and played with Jadon Sancho, knowing that Jadon Sancho isn't pacey, isn't electric enough to get in behind the fullback, loves ball to feet, loves running at his man with ball to feet. And with that, that made life comfortable, at least a lot easier for Trent Alexander-Arnold, as opposed to if you had a Neto who was ready to run in behind him, run at him at pace. So with Enzo Maresca going to this game and say, okay, we are going to play to our strength. They're going to play a crazy high line. We are going to take advantage of Liverpool, because Liverpool will always play that high line. Obviously, not as crazy as under Klopp, but high nonetheless. So even if you start the season or you get to that game with Neto, Madueke as the only wingers, maybe can judge as well, you must play, to the advantage of the wingers you have. Enzo Maresca should not overthink this. He should not overthink this. So for me, that game, I can't say Chelsea can win that one. Then the next fixture on Saturday, 18th, October 18th, October 2025, that will be against Nottingham Forest. And I think Nottingham Forest would have, an axe to grind against Chelsea. Yeah, so I think they'll have an axe to grind against Chelsea, and we all know how they would want to play. They'll want to play with pace, want to play with power. Elanga, Hudson-Odoi, running behind, taking advantage of the fact that you probably have a Reece James or a Gusto inverting. And that is where another in-game intelligence comes in. That is where Enzo Maresca has to be adaptable again, has to be humble again. Because if you allow Gusto to invert always, you allow Reece James to invert always, Hudson-Odoi would skin the life out of Chelsea. Elanga will skin the life out of Chelsea. You know, because when you have those fullbacks in midfield, one ball over the top into that space they've left, and they're in trouble. Now, the only fullback at Chelsea who is able to master, or rather has been able to master, defending, being in the midfield, and also dropping back to defend is Cucurella. But even with Cucurella, the issue remains is it nullifies his attacking ability, his ability to, stretch play from that left back slot. So that is another issue that has to be dealt with. Now, this game, I think, if Enzo Maresca keeps it simple, is one that Chelsea can win. Let me know what you think about that game. Then the next one, of course, Sunderland. Sunderland newly promoted side. That's a side that Chelsea should ordinarily go in there and win. That's the game they should win. They've sold their best player to Dortmund, Joe Bellingham. So there's talk of them signing a Nigerian central midfielder in Uche Santos. I think he's at that level of Joe Bellingham, if not slightly better. So let's see if they indeed sign him. Let's see how that shakes out. But that is a game Chelsea going into that game versus Sunderland. That's a game that Chelsea must win. It's a game, those sort of games you must win. For me, the kind of signings that Chelsea have made this season, I'm sorry, I cannot predict that Chelsea will, have a title challenge. I don't think I can comfortably predict that, because I think when you sign Liam Delap, you're writing off the season. You're writing off the season in terms of winning titles, competing for trophies. So for me, what I will want Chelsea to do, my expectation is Chelsea should be the best of the rest. By that I mean you beat your Nottingham Forest, you beat your Sunderland, you beat your Crystal Palace, you defeat Wolves, all those teams who are traditionally, below top six. You beat those teams. That's what I expect from Chelsea going into next season. Now, this season, prior to the transfer window being open, I was ready to say Chelsea should be able to go for a title challenge at least. But the transfer business Chelsea have done so far this season doesn't give me any some, you know, confidence that Chelsea will compete for a title this season. It's just my honest opinion. Let me know what you think. Do you have any confidence that Chelsea, can compete for for the Premier League title this season? How far do you think Chelsea can go, or what will even be a successful season for Chelsea, in your opinion? And now the next one to look at is Spurs. Now Spurs away, that's a big one. The derby. Chelsea have to win that game. Definitely not lose that game. Now you have a Thomas Frank. Now he will come with a different style of play. He may decide to, be more conservative, at least slightly more conservative, than Ange. And let's be honest, it's not that difficult to be more conservative than Ange. You could have you could have Pep Guardiola at Spurs, and he will be more conservative than Ange, because I don't think he will play that crazy high line that Ange, always sets up with. So that's a game Chelsea should be able to win, but it's not going to be easy, because I think that would be a different sort of fixture, different sort of setup. Because I think Thomas Frank I think what you want to do at Spurs is make Spurs tough to beat, make Spurs, far more decent and concede less goals. So that's going to be really difficult for Chelsea. Now, I'm confident Chelsea can go into that game having high hopes of maybe snagging on 3 points. But then again, it boils down to what Enzo Maresca would do tactically. He has to be willing to be flexible with his tactics. And then again, the transfer window, we need to see how that shakes out. But let me know what you think about the game versus Spurs, that first big London derby. Let me know what you think. Do you think Chelsea can get all 3 points from that game? Let me know what you think. So we go on to the next one. So that's Wolves. We've got Wolves, 8th November. We've got Wolves, and we've got Burnley, and then we've got Arsenal. So the Wolves game, that's a game Chelsea should be able to win as well. That's a game that Chelsea 100% should be able to win. Going into that game, you should win in that game. Even the game versus Burnley, that's the sort of games you must win. You can't go to the game versus Burnley coming with a point. Home and away, all those newly promoted sides, Chelsea should be able to go to those games and absolutely win. Put on a dominant performance. Like I said, I want to see Chelsea be the best of the rest. Even with the transfer window, be the best of the rest. Go in, defeat every team, at least have a winning record against all the teams from 5th or 6th down the table. Have a winning record. Now, when I say 5th or 6th down the table, I mean the traditional 5th or 6th down the table. So Arsenal, that will be a tough game to play, because we're hearing about Rodrigo being linked to Arsenal. We're hearing, about Kudus being linked to Arsenal. So let's see if those deals are indeed completed. But that game will be a tough game. And then, like I always go back to the window, if the season starts today, the 18th of June 2025, I don't think Chelsea can finish above Arsenal. That's my honest opinion. I'd love to say different. I'd love to say Chelsea should be able to, batter Arsenal, be competitive with Arsenal, and even finish higher than Arsenal. But the business Chelsea have done this season, haven't really brought Chelsea, close to Arsenal. And for me, you just need 3 signings. 3 signings. A top striker with pedigree that Jandela can develop under, top midfielder, and a centre back. You need these 3. If you get a Victor Osimhen into the building, that's 10 to 12 additional points. And that brings you immediately this close to Arsenal. But if you keep playing this way, where you're signing this young player, that needs, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months to come good, then it's going to be a tough season still. So let me know what you think about that. Do you think Chelsea, if the season should start now, if this game scheduled for the 29th of November 2025 starts right now, Chelsea can confidently say they can beat Arsenal, we can beat Arsenal? So let me know what you think about it. Because me, not super confident. Transfer window, let's see what Chelsea does. Caicedo, brilliant as always, during the Club World Cup. Esugo show some good moves, some good tackles in that Club World Cup. So brilliant. And DeSantis excited to see him what he can do, in that midfield as well. So happy days. But then again, with Cole Palmer struggling, that is why with the likes of Jao Felix Nkunku, probably Nkunku is gone, but that would have been an opportunity for Chelsea should have gone into the market, especially with Cherky being available at the price he was available for. Why tease the fans with kudos when you will not go anywhere near 85 million pounds. You will not even negotiate for 60. Why bother? Why tease the fans? I've said it before. It's like Chelsea have somehow become the old Arsenal, the Arsenal of old. See this player, oh, we're linked to him, we're going to sign him, oh, we're linked to him, we're the only ones at the negotiation table. And then, just like magic, off the negotiation table, oh, the price is too much, we don't want to be cheated. And then it ends up that way. So if you were not going to get Cherky, why didn't Chelsea go on to sign? If you're not going to get kudos because the price you say is too much, why didn't Chelsea go for the Cherky? Because those kind of players that can unlock defenses, you don't have, that rare, in my opinion. Good Arsenal game, it's a game I'm not fully confident about. Although it's at home at Stamford Bridge, I'm not super confident about that game. But let's see, the transfer window is still young. Just a couple of deals done, and then I can give a different opinion. But let me know what you think in the chat. So and then we will then move on to the next set of games. So that's Leeds United, Bournemouth, and Everton. So that's 3rd December against Leeds away, 6th December against Bournemouth away, and then 13th December against Everton at home. Now, the game versus Leeds United, I expect Chelsea to win that because for me, I think Falcao is still in the team, so that means they'll be playing with a crazy high line. So Chelsea should be able to take advantage of that high line if Enzo Maresca just comes down from his high horse a bit, be a bit tactically humble and flexible. That game is there for the taking. The game against Bournemouth, you got Iraola there as the head coach. He's been fantastic for Bournemouth. But the way they play, I think it still leaves it open for Chelsea to take advantage. The game against Everton at home at Stamford Bridge, that's another game that Chelsea should be able to take advantage of, in my opinion. Like I said, going into this video earlier on, I said Chelsea have to be the best of the rest. The business done so far this window doesn't really inspire me, or I don't think it even should even inspire anyone, not even the board, to say Chelsea should be able to come in for a title. But Chelsea should be able to finish third comfortably, fourth comfortably, be the best of the rest. Maybe you see Liverpool ahead of you because of the business, the deal they've done, Man City obviously ahead of you because of Guardiola and the business they've done, the players they already have in the squad, the stage they are in their progression. So that Arsenal, I don't like saying this, believe me, it annoys me each time I say it, but that's just the truth. I have to be truthful about it. Arsenal still ahead of Chelsea in the state of their development and the business that they could do. So all depends on the business that Chelsea does. So let's see what happens. But based on the state of the team, the businesses various teams have done, I think they're ahead of Chelsea. So when you have Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal ahead of Chelsea, Chelsea should be able to be. We finish fourth comfortably, not waiting till the last day of the season, finish that fourth spot comfortably and have a winning record against every other team. For me, that's my expectation. From whom I say, Standard FC. No. If I want to be Standard FC, I will say Chelsea should be competing for the league title. Chelsea should even win the league title. Now, that is Standard FC. I should be saying Chelsea should go to the go to the Champions League and get up to semi-final, final, because that is the standard of Chelsea. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm in for is Chelsea being the best of the rest. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on all we discussed so far about the various fixtures, and let's go. So Everton, they're going to be a bit reserved, a bit conserved. So I'm not quite sure if they're willing to sign Broja. Let's see how that shakes down. Let's see. And then, of course, they wanted to sign, what's his face? They wanted to sign Liam Delap, and Chelsea beat everybody to it. And they've been linked to, an FC Basel striker, um, Kelvin Omorui Benjamin, Kelvin Carlos Omorui Benjamin. He's a Spanish Nigerian striker. Also, he has also been linked to Villarreal. Everton have been linked to his signature as well, since they missed out on Liam Delap. So let's see if they're able to get him. He is pacey, powerful striker. If they get him in the building, that would be a problem for Chelsea. And we know David Moyes, he's not going to be overly adventurous. So that is a game where you need to take the game to Everton and don't make any tactical mistakes from the standpoint of Enzo Maresca. So, but being at Stamford Bridge, I think that's a game that Chelsea should win. So those are my expectations going into the season. Chelsea being the best of the rest. So let me know your thoughts, opinions on the various fixtures as we go. And then the next one go down to the next set of fixtures we'll be looking at Newcastle, Aston Villa, and Bournemouth. So Newcastle on it away at St James's Park on 20th of December 2025, and then 27th of December against Aston Villa at Stamford Bridge, and then followed by another home fixture against Bournemouth on Tuesday, 30th of December 2025. So getting into the festive season. And for me, the game versus Aston Villa, I know they're going to do good business this season. There's also talk about Aston Villa. Let's talk about Aston Villa for a minute. Let's talk about Aston Villa being interested in Nicholas Jackson. Now, some fans have, not been too happy about him. Some Chelsea fans have been like, Jackson, let Jackson go to Aston Villa. That's going to be very bad for Chelsea. Now, there are two ways to look at it. Now, Jackson, don't get me wrong, he is a decent player, very good player. But it all depends on if Chelsea lets Jackson go, who are they going to get? Are you going to get me a prolific number 9, Victor Osimhen? You're correct. Are you going to do that? Or are you going to go on and spend maybe 20 million euros on some 17-year-old, 18-year-old? Or are you going to say if Jackson goes, you rely on McGill and Liam Delap as your two striking options? Is that what you're going to do? And that's a question for Enzo Maresca to answer. That's a question for Paul Winstanley to answer as well. Because we know Aston Villa are going to do good business. So let's say Chelsea sells Nicholas Jackson to Aston Villa. Let's say maybe 50 million pounds, or maybe even 60 to Aston Villa. Now, that makes Aston Villa a lot better because let's face it, Aston Villa are a very big club. For sure, 100% they're a big club. But I don't think they've come to that point yet where everything sits back against them. I don't think they've got to that point yet. A couple of more European nights, a couple of more Champions League runs, getting near to competing for a title. And I think they begin to fall into that class of team where when they face a Wolves will sit back against them. When they face a Bournemouth will sit back against them. When they face an Everton will sit back against them. So I think that would then make Jackson be very good at Aston Villa if he goes there, because a lot of teams will play Highland against Aston Villa and you get punished. And let's not forget, Unai Emery, I think, was the coach that gave Jackson this opportunity at Villarreal. So he knows how to use him very well. And he possibly knows that Jackson isn't an out-and-out number 9. So you could play him in a situation where he could be a support striker or someone that basically plays on the counter-attack, and that, or even on the wing, and that could suit Jackson better. But for me, what will Chelsea do? If you let a Jackson go, for me, that should be instantly a sign that you're getting a Victor Osimhen in the building. That's it. That's the Chelsea way. If you're letting go a player, you're not going to get a player who's at that level. You're going to get a player who is better. That's it. So you have to assure the fan base that you let the Jackson go, you're getting a player who is better, that's coming to deliver, not a 17-year-old or 18-year-old who's still learning straight. That's my opinion. So that being said, that game would be a tough game. And of course, the Newcastle game at St James's Park is going to be a tough game as well, especially if Isak still remains at the club. If Isak is still at the club, we've heard Liverpool being interested, in Isak, which is just absolute madness. Can you imagine Mo Salah, Florian Wirtz, Kudiaku, Luis Diaz, and Isak? Whew! That would be madness. I think the league will be a two-horse race. I'm not saying Arsenal. When I say two-horse race, I mean Liverpool and Manchester City. Let me ask this question to all Arsenal fans that may watch this, or even fans who are not Arsenal fans. If what would you want to happen to Mikel Arteta if, let's say, Liverpool win the league again, or Man City wins the league, or Chelsea leapfrogs Arsenal and wins the league? Would you say it's time for Arteta to be sacked, or would you still back him? Now the question is again, what happens? What would you think should happen to Mikel Arteta if if Liverpool wins the league again, or Man City wins the league, or Chelsea leapfrogs Arsenal and wins the league? Maybe Arsenal finishing third, or even if they finish second, but another team wins the league. What would you think about that? Because the talk has always been, oh, Man City are such a dangerous side, are so dominant. Look at how they've dominated everyone. No one can compete. The moment Guardiola leaves, Arsenal will definitely win the league. Guardiola had a tough season. What happened? Liverpool won the league. So if Chelsea can come and win the league, what should Arteta still be in the job? Let us know in the chats. So I think that game versus Newcastle will be a tough game. If Isak is still with them, it will be a seriously tough game. And I have this sneaky feeling that if Newcastle sells Isak, they'll probably will go for a very top striker. I just have this feeling. Because let's not forget, the owners of Newcastle United are very wealthy. It's just because of some PSR, this and the other, that's why they haven't really splurged in the market yet. But I think if they're able to make a sale of 150 to 130 to 150 million pounds, because I think that's the sort of deal that would attract or that would cause them to sell an Isak, especially if it's Liverpool that's coming in. Because and that's about spending big. Once you spend big, every other club you go to will want to get some of that good cash that you have. So Liverpool spent 160 million on Wirtz. If they're going for Isak, I pray it doesn't happen. But if they're going for Isak for sure, Newcastle United possibly, not even possibly, surely would ask for not less than 130 million pounds. And if they're able to sell a player for that much, then I think that loosens the PSR strings around their hands, and then they can spend even more. So I think, with that being said, they could go for a Victor Osimhen, where everyone is just busy dancing around and just being silly. They could go for, you're correct, Shiva. I think if they sell Isak, they will go for a very top striker. That's my opinion. So, and then the next game that we have on here is Bournemouth at home to Chelsea. Now that's a game Chelsea must win. I'm sorry. People might say, oh, Iraola, he's done so well at Bournemouth. Yeah, I know. Chelsea must win that game. No more excuses, man. No more excuses. No more excuses. Chelsea, I'm not saying win the league. I'm not saying win the league because the transfer business done so far doesn't tell me the board's ready to win the league. But going into this season, you must be able to be the best of the rest. Best of the rest. Maybe Arsenal has a winning record ahead of you. Man City has a winning record ahead of you. Liverpool, a winning record ahead of you. But then from Spurs downwards, you should be winning everything, at least having a winning record against those teams. That's the way I look at it. If that doesn't happen this season, then it will be a failure for me, in my opinion. So let me know your opinions about that. So that's a game Chelsea should win for sure. The Newcastle game, I wouldn't be mad with a draw, honestly speaking. I wouldn't be mad with the draw. And now that depends with the business they do, whether they let players go without replacing, or they keep hold of Isak and sign, additional firepower. Let's see how that shifts down. And then we go on to the next set of fixtures. So then we go into January fixtures. So that Man City away, we've got Fulham away, Chelsea versus Brentford, at home. Now, this Man City game, Man City, they've got Shaky, don't forget, they've got Ellen Haaland already. That game is really going to be really difficult. Now, I hope, one thing I hope and pray is this, that Enzo Maresca has had enough worshipping of Pep Guardiola. He's done all the worshipping, all the bowing down to Guardiola. He's done all that last season. So now this season is ready. Because the last season's fixture against Man City was almost like was oh boss, come win this game. Like almost tactically. Just oh no, I'm not gonna do anything. First game, played the Goku out of position. The next game away at Man City, he played the crazy high line. Even when Man City were playing long balls, he refused to. We just imprisoned the team even further. So I hope this season he's done with all the oh my boss validate me. He's his own man and he's ready to go toe to toe with Man City because that game will be a very tough game. Like I said, Ryan Cherky is there. You know, um you've got Bernardo Silva still there, you've got Ellen Haaland still there. You know, you've got Aït-Nouri, one of the most attack-minded fullbacks in the Premier League, if not the most attack-minded fullback, you know, in the league. So you've got Aït-Nouri. I think Aït-Nouri and Keke should be neck and neck for the most attack-minded fullbacks. I think Gusto could have been a close third, but the way Enzo Maresca has used him has squeezed the confidence out of him. And even when he plays him, he just stuffs him into midfield. So Gusto is out of that conversation, in my opinion. So Man City is going to be a tough game. Depending on how the season has gone to that point, losing that game wouldn't be the worst in the world, in my opinion. Like, I would love to say going to that Man City game, come on, that's a game you win 2-0, 2-1. But the business that has been done so far doesn't speak to me to say Chelsea should be confident of winning that game. And the way Enzo Maresca is, he hasn't shown me that he can be that guy that is tactically flexible and can take advantage of the openings and loopholes that Man City will create. Now, Pochettino was a coach I criticized a lot because he got some things very, very wrong. So I'm not here to say bring Pochettino back or anything. But Pochettino also tried to take advantage of Man City. Same thing, Antonio Conte played his three at the back, played with his two tens, and took advantage of the gaping holes in Man City's defense. So each team that has succeeded against Man City has always played differently. Klopp with his high octane pressing, Conte with his precise counter-attacking football, Mourinho with his own special one style of play. So if you're going up against Man City and you want to play like Man City, you will lose. You will lose. Even Arsenal. Arsenal only began to get better results against Man City when Arteta began to play a bit differently because Pep Guardiola has been playing this style of football for the longest. He is the master of it. So if you go to play this possessional football with Man City, you most likely would lose, especially if the business that Chelsea has done remain this way or remains in this style. Now, by remaining this style, I mean you sign 18-year-old, sign 19-year-old, someone who's not fully experienced, that's not ready to go now. Then that game you can say you win it. Then the next game against Fulham on the 7th of January against Fulham away, I think that's a game Chelsea can win. Now that's a game Chelsea can win and should be winning, including the game on Saturday on the 17th of January 2026. That's a game Chelsea should be winning as well. Going up against Brentford at home at Stamford Bridge, that means the onus would be on Chelsea to go at Brentford. And up to this point, I have to say this: Chelsea should be in that top four. Chelsea should be in that top four. It's sad, a bit sad for me that as Chelsea, we're now gunning for top four, gunning for top four. Top four is our ambition going into the season. Days gone by, years have gone by where top four used to be taken for granted. You finish fourth, you complain, and you win the FA Cup, you didn't win Carabao Cup, you complain, you didn't compete for a title, but you finish fourth. But now fourth is kind of like a trophy. Yeah, we got fourth. It's so sad. But for me right now, I see it as if you can get fourth comfortably, maybe win the FA Cup. That's a successful season, which I don't like to say, but that is where this Premier League and Bluco have Chelsea. That's the truth. And Enzo Maresca, he also has Chelsea right there, which seems to be tactically, flexible. So that, but nonetheless, Brentford game must be won. That's where I see it. The Brentford Chelsea must be winning that. And then we go to game on the 24th of January. That's Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. That's return leg. Play Crystal Palace at home, away. Play West Ham at home. Play Wolves away. Play Leeds United, at home. Now, from this set of fixtures, I think Chelsea should be coming up with. I think Chelsea should be coming away from this with 12 points. Yeah, I said it, 12 points. Because for me, like I said, I want Chelsea to be the best of the rest. So these are some of the games you go in, you get your 3 points from each of the fixtures. Chelsea, that's the next stage in the evolution of this team. You go into those games and get all 3 points. You may say Premier League games not easy. Of course, it's not going to be easy. But to show progression, you must be that team that is better than every other team, apart from Liverpool, Arsenal, and Manchester City. And that is if the board doesn't do any new business or any inspiring business, because you could wake up tomorrow and they've signed 10 new players. Maybe only one of them can actually play for the team. So that's what we're talking about. So this is a game that Chelsea should be able to go into, and have a winning record. For me, this set of fixtures, Chelsea should get all 12 points from this game. Let me know what you think in the chats and let us go. Then we go on to the next set of fixtures starting from 25th, 21st of February against Burnley. That's a game Chelsea should win for sure. Not if, buts, or maybes. The Arsenal one, I would love to say Chelsea can come away with a point, but that may be a game that Chelsea may lose. I don't want to say it. I don't like to say it, but maybe a game that Chelsea could lose. So 3 points from Burnley, maybe no point from Arsenal, 3 points from Aston Villa, and we get a draw from Newcastle. So that's 1-4, and then that's 7. So you get 7 points from a possible. Yeah, so 7 points. That's 3, 6. So 7 points from a possible 12. Not the worst set of results in the world, but you would hope Chelsea should be able to stand up to Arsenal. But if the business remains the way it is right now, the transfer business, then 7 points from 12 isn't the worst result in the world, in my opinion. So let me know what you think in the chats. Let's keep going. So we'll plow through all the 38 fixtures and we'll keep going. So the next set of fixtures would then be Everton away, Everton away, Man City at home, Chelsea, Manchester United at home, Brighton away. So this set of games, I'm thinking Chelsea should be able to beat Everton away, maybe get a draw from Man City, get a win against Manchester United, and get a win against Brighton. So you get 11 points from possible 12. Yeah, 11 points from possible 12. That would be the worst result, in the world. So if you go then to the next one from the 2nd of May, Nottingham Forest, Liverpool, Spurs, and Sunderland. Now, this season, I'd like to say Chelsea should be able to win against Nottingham Forest, should be able to win, against Spurs, win against Sunderland for sure. Now, the Liverpool one, I can't, in all honesty, I'm sorry, I can't in all honesty say Chelsea will win against Liverpool. I'd love to say it, especially Chelsea were able to beat Liverpool, last season, towards the end of the season, towards the last game of the season, almost the second to last game of the season. But we all know Liverpool were on the beach, they were relaxing, they already won all they could win that, for last season. So maybe not too inspired to go all out there, and get all 3 points. So, and again, you look at the business that Liverpool have done, they've shown that they want to go again. They're aware of the target, at their back. So they're ready to go again. On the other hand, the business Chelsea have done this season hasn't been awe-inspiring, in my opinion. Esugo is coming, decent player, good to see him in the building. And the Santos, you know, will join the team. So good to have him in the building. Esteban William will be there as well, but he's just 18 years old. He's not the player you want to say, we're going to rely on you, have all our hopes on you. Cole Palmer have been struggling. I have to be honest about it. But let's hope that he comes good. He fights out of this slump. And the advice I would have for Cole Palmer is this: calm down. Let the game come to you. Don't always be that guy that wants to force the chance, get the assist, get the goal. No, calm down. Sometimes the easy pass to someone that lays it off, gets the assist, you get your confidence back. And the Club World Cup game, versus LAFC, there's a chance he could have laid off for Delap, but I think he still has this pressure on him that I must be the guy that gets to those goals. It's a pressure. And it's a good thing for a player to feel that, to feel that pressure that I must be a difference maker. I can be a difference maker in the team. It's good. It's commendable. It's something to have, but it's how you deal with that pressure. Sometimes you just, okay, I'll lay this ball off, the lap, have a tap in. I'll give this ball to a Madueke, for instance. He makes the runs, he lays the ball off for a Jackson to score. I don't get the assist, but I've improved play. I've created a lot of chances. So that's what I want to do. Calm down. Don't force yourself too much. Let it come to you. And before you know it, he'll be back on his top, playing his absolute best football. That's my opinion about Cole Palmer struggling. So looking at the business Chelsea have done, looking at the business Liverpool have done, and the sort of team they were, that both teams were come the end of the season, just to say that's a game that Chelsea may lose. But once they win, that's common. If I have to say win, then the board of directors, the Clear Lake, Blue Co, Egbali, Feliciano, Todd Bowley, Lawrence Stewart, Paul Winstanley should come good, put their money where it should be. They no longer put the money where the mouth is, because they spend, which is the odd thing about this ownership group. They spend because usually you have two types of ownership groups. You have ownership groups that don't spend. They sign this player here for this, they don't really spend. So end of the transfer window, they might end up spending £30 million or £40 million. They don't spend. You have the ownership group that goes out there like Roman in his early time at Chelsea. Oh, this player 50 million, boom, buy, get this player. But they end up buying top players, right? But then you have this clear kind of Blue Co, a special kind of ownership group. Spend lots of money, but when you look around, you say, what did they spend the money on? Where has all that money gone? It's just like you give your 10-year-old, let's say £20 to get food for whatever reason. Okay, I'll be late from work today. Just buy this from the shop. You know why that's a bad idea? Because that 10-year-old will end up going to buy a pack of Haribos. And you come back, oh, so hungry, what did you buy? So I can cook. Just all sweets and chewies. So that's what this board are doing. Oh, have so much money, buy players. Oh, I'll buy this 18-year-old here, I'll buy this 19-year-old here, I'll buy this player here, no experience, I'll buy this player here, may come good. Want that kid that won't play for you for the next 3 years, yes, that's what I'll sign. And the thing is, they've got the fan base to buy into this so crazily. But one thing people forget is that while you're buying these 18-year-old, these 19-year-old football players, while you're doing all that, what would happen is the other teams will still be improving. So while you buy an 18-year-old and you're hoping that in the next 4 years it will come good, a club like Liverpool will buy a 22-year-old that's already doing it for Bayer Leverkusen. They'll go on and buy a 25-year-old who is doing it in the Premier League already. So they keep stretching the gap. Because what some Chelsea fans don't get is, while your 18-year-old player, wonder kid, is developing, Liverpool won't be sitting back there. Oh, come on, catch up. And what some of them forget as well is that when it comes to competition to sign the best of the best talents, The team who has been winning has more advantage than you. That's just about it. The team that has been winning, the Liverpools, the Man Cities, the Real Madrid, the Barcelona, those teams with winning record, winning tradition, they have a better this than you. And that's why sometimes you're faced with the issue of high wages. Now, you're going to say, we don't pay high wages, but what happens when you don't pay it? You lose out on that player. So that's a game I don't think Chelsea can win. So a draw or a loss or a draw at best. And then we go on to the game versus Spurs at home, Stamford Bridge. I think that's another game that Chelsea should be able to win, in my opinion. I don't know what your personal opinions are about that. Chelsea should be able to win at home, but it will be a lot more difficult. If you think this game will be as easy as it was, under and you're mistaken. Because one thing about Thomas Frank is he's very smart. He has high IQ when it comes to in-game management, and he knows how to take advantage of his opponent's weaknesses. So that's the someone that can really hurt Chelsea, especially if Enzo Maresca still decides to play, 2,000 passes, building up from the back, slow paced. Then it's going to be always difficult to get Brentford. I mean, it's difficult against Thomas Frank because if he comes with his Brentford sensibilities to Spurs, then it's going to be really, really difficult for Chelsea to take advantage of Spurs. That's the truth about the matter. That's the truth about the matter. But let me know what those opinions are on that game. That game you feel you're fully confident going into that game that Chelsea will win or Chelsea can win. Let me know what you think. And then the game versus Liverpool. Yeah, what do you think? You think Chelsea has a chance? For me, a draw wouldn't be the end of the world, and a loss may just happen. That's why I said Chelsea have to be the best of the rest, beating every other team. Your Bournemouth, your Aston Villas, your um, Wolves. Every other team from that fifth or sixth downwards, you beat all of them. At least have a winning record against those teams because the Arsenals, the Liverpools, the Manchester Cities. Unfortunately, the business Chelsea has done so far just means those games are going to be really difficult to get anything out of. I don't want that to be the case, but that's how it's smelling right now. That's how it seems right now. So we go on to the next set of fixtures. So we've got Sunderland. Sunderland, that will be the last game of the season. And Honda said, "Oh, the last time Chelsea played Sunderland, last game of the season, Chelsea ended up winning the league that season." But one thing people forget is they forget the sort of ownership that Chelsea had at that point in time and what that ownership was willing to do in transfer window in January, what they were willing to do. But one thing I want to hope and pray is that going into that last game of the season against Sunderland on 27th of May, I hope Chelsea's fate has been sealed. I hope possibly if it's Champions League football, Chelsea has got the Champions League football spots sewn up. If you're competing, if by some miracle it ends up that Chelsea competing for the league title, that is done already. In fact, no, scrap that. If Chelsea goes into the game versus Sunderland saying, if you win that game, you win the league, then I'll take your hand off. I'll snatch your hand off. But if anything short of that, if you're talking about competing for Champions League spots, just should already have that sewn up. Competing for and win, get the second spot, that game should be sewn up. Those expectations should be sewn up. But I'll take going into the last game of the season with the chance of with having your own fate in your hands in regards to winning the to win the Premier League. I'll take that. But I just have a sneaky feeling that wouldn't be happening. But don't get me wrong, I'll always cheer for the team 110%. No matter what, no matter the transfer business that is done, I'll always be cheering for the team. But it's just that the transfer business that been done doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. So, want to know what some opinions are? We're talking about the 38 games that Chelsea will be playing this season. I'm talking about my expectations. I look at games that I feel Chelsea will win, games that Chelsea won't be able to win, in my opinion, given the business Chelsea have done so far. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on all of this. And I'll be doing some watch alongs as we're going to go. Let me know. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't and you're new, and share the video, share this content to other people that you feel would love this kind of content as well. And also subscribe to the channel, click the like button, click the notification bell so you're notified each time a video comes on the channel. So, but overall, let's play this game. Or rather, let me ask you this question: how many points do you think Chelsea would get come the end of the season? That's one first question. And the second question: where do you think Chelsea would finishes this season? And third question that's connected to it is, which position would be seen as a success for you? Rather, what would be seen as success for you this season? Is it winning the Premier League title? Is it finishing in the top four? Is it finishing top four and winning a trophy, maybe winning the FA Cup, or going for the cup double? I mean, maybe a cup double, FA Cup, and Carabao Cup. Would that be what you term as success? So, what would amount to success for you if this transfer window was to shut right now? Or let's even say just able to get Bino Gittins and get Fofana, the two wingers that have been linked recently. Let's say that you're able to get those two and the window shots like that. What would be success for you? Would that be a good window in your opinion? Would you say that that's a good window? For me, it would be okay-ish window, but not good because the are areas that still need addressing, and we've known for like 3 years now, and we haven't addressed them. That's the issue I have. It's not like we found out last season that we needed a top striker. We still haven't addressed it, in my opinion. The lab can come good. Maguire can come good. No one is speaking about him incidentally, but he can come good as well. But he can, he may, he could, not for sure. That is the issue we have with the signings we've made so far. Let's go. I think he'll be fine in that midfield because you already have Caicedo, who he's coming in up behind and can learn and progress behind him. And of course, Enzo is there as well. Andre Santos is there as well, who's accomplished. It's someone I really want to see. And then Kenny Pires, I'd love to see more of him, but apparently he'll be going out on loan to Strasbourg. Estavayer William, he's got talent, so there's no doubt about it. Let nobody tell you Estavayer William doesn't have talent. He does have talent. He does have ability on the ball. He's skillful, pacey, and all that good stuff. But has he felt the force of Premier League defenders? I don't think so. At his age, can he be the one you absolutely rely on to say this can be the guy that delivers for us? I don't quite think so as well myself. So that is the question we'll have to answer. That is why you need to get some experienced heads in the building so that you give people like Estavayer William time to grow. Because it's not child's play. When you give an 18-year-old the opportunity that an experienced man should have, automatically you have that expectation that he should come in and deliver. That's the expectation you have immediately. And I think Cole Palmer needs some help. Not help from strikers per se, but from midfielders like him, another creative force. That's why Kudus would have been good. The Sheikh would have been good. Another number 10 to come in. Because right now, you may say we have Joao Felix. You may say there's Nkunku. But we know Joao Felix possibly will be sold and they end up at Benfica, wishing him success if he goes. Nkunku, even in the Club World Cup game, his head looks gone. And look at the time he was given like 7 minutes. That doesn't inspire you with confidence as a player. So his head is gone. So, as I said, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's watched this video, subscribed to the channel, that's shared this video to their network. I really appreciate you. So, but at this point, I've come to the end of the video, and I'll see you on yet another video. So stay well and stay blessed.